Our next artist for the Dutch Baroque is Judith Leister, a female artist. Woohoo! Yeah. She was a contemporary of Frans Hals, and here we are looking at her self-portrait. A contemporary of Frans Hals, what I mean by that is she was alive and working at the same time as Frans Hals. So in this self-portrait, we see her dressed as a beautifully dressed young woman, and she's in the act of painting. She has her paintbrush, her paint palette, and she is painting this jolly figure here, a fiddler. And in the self-portrait, she's presenting herself not only as an artist and at her work, but she's presenting a personality. Now, if we were in class together, I would ask you to tell me, like, what's her attitude here? What is she doing? She's painting, but she's stopped. She stopped to look at who? You. Oh. And what is she saying? Because her mouth is open, so there's a sound coming out, right? So if we were to look at her, she's in the act of painting. What is she doing? It's like she stopped, she's like, oh, hey, what's up? Come on in. She's very casual. She's elegantly dressed, but she's very casual. And she's opening herself up. Come, come. If we think about this in comparison to what we saw in Artemisia Gentileschi's self-portrait, very different, right? Artemisia was too busy. I gotta paint. I'm painting. I'm going. I'm doing. She doesn't acknowledge the viewer. She doesn't acknowledge us. However, Leister, she's stopped and she's making direct eye contact. And then look at that elbow. We talked about elbows. Remember we talked about elbows last class? Remember Charles dismounted and he was keeping that elbow in our face? He was like, ew, ew, get away from us. Where's her elbow? Her elbow's to the side. She's twisted. She's more open and acknowledging of us. Right? So we get this more casual approach as we come into the painting. But she is showing off her skills. She is showing off her skill of painting texture and fabric, and she's not limiting, or she is limiting herself by telling us exactly what she's in the act of painting. She was known for these genre scenes of like jolly merriment, people at parties and stuff. So this falls right in line with that, right? Now I will say that she's showing off her technical skill with her beautiful gown. Her gown she's wearing looks like a black silk bodice, and then she has these gorgeous rose pink silk taffeta sleeves and a silk taffeta skirt. Ugh! And then she too has a starched lace ruff. You see that? And then she's wearing her hair pulled back under this pinned bonnet. When we zoom in though, look at that. Here we are. Ooh, she's got this extremely fine lace, transparent lace cuff. And then she's got these fantastic buttons and this gold thread used to define the sleeve. Now, this could be a painting, or this could be a dress that never existed. This could all be just a figment of her imagination, but that's not the point. What she's showing you here is that she is a woman of refined elegance, right? She has this very delicate, this is not what she would be wearing when she's painting, but that's not the point. She's showing herself to be a very elegant woman, fashionable and wealthy. Also, she's showing off her talent and her ability to paint this type of very difficult fabric, right? Think about with Velázquez. We said clear glass, clear water, crazy hard. What about a transparent sleeve? Yeah, that's also crazy hard. So she's showing off her ability to capture these different kind of textures and shapes. If we zoom in even more, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful work. My favorite, though, is her skirt. Look at the raw brush strokes that she keeps on the canvas. The unmixed pinks and reds. When we pull back, they come together to create the sheen of the taffeta. What is the two vocabulary words we can use or apply to this? Look through your notes. Spanish Baroque, Velázquez. Did you say it? Yes, impasto. That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing that rough application of paint unmixed onto the canvas. Impasto, and when you pull back, it creates optical realism. And that's a really difficult thing to do. So Judith Leister, she's showing off her technique. She's showing off what she specializes in. She's showing off her ability to capture these refined, elegant, delicate, difficult styles and fabrics. She's so great. She also used this guy later on in another painting. This is another painting of hers. I said that she was known for her kind of jovial scenes of people. So she's got this guy here, and she uses him in this painting 8 years later called Merry Company. And I like it because what you see is our fiddler, and we see a guy singing, and then this guy here looking at the camera or looking at the viewer, and he's got a decanter and he's poured himself some kind of a alcoholic beverage, and they're all a little tipsy. Woohoo! Just having a grand old time. Whoop! He's gonna spill it. Yeah, he's gonna spill that alcohol. And you know, it's a good old time. Everybody's looking at the kid. Look at those guys, they're all drunk. Ha ha ha. So everybody's just having a great time. These types of scenes that Judith Leister was famous for, they were extremely popular in the Dutch Baroque. We see, again, an increase in popularity with portraiture, landscape painting, and these types of basic merriment and genre scenes. Because I like them so much, I'm going to show you just a few more here. This one here, it's not by Leister. This one is called The Smokers. There's plenty of others very similar to this. What we see are these men in a bar or a tavern, and they're all sitting around talking and drinking and smoking. You can see they've got their tobacco pipes, their clay pipes, and they're having a good old time. And this guy, it's called the smoker because, yes, they're smoking, but this guy, he's a little tipsy, a little too drunk, and he accidentally lit his mustache on fire. Whoops! Ew, this guy's gonna do like a snot rocket. Oh, God. It's just fun and happiness. Ha ha ha. This is another one of my favorites. This is a series of 5. It's called The Five Senses. Well, you know the 5 senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound or hearing. So that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing each of those senses play up. This one here is touch. And what we have is a drunk guy who's getting too touchy with this woman, and she's going to touch him with her shoe right on his head. This one here is smell. We see a stinky baby butt, and they're going, oh God, it smells terrible. So yeah, these are the types of scenes that are really popular in the Dutch Baroque. Why? Well, why not? They've won their independence, and they have all this money. Remember, remember we were looking at it in the northern, we were looking at the High Renaissance, and I was saying how in the north we got tons of money coming in. There's so much money, which is a resource, and how do you display your power? How do you display your influence? You use art. So buy some of those funny scenes and pop them up in your dining room. Judith Leister, brilliant example of that. And guess what? We own it. We, as in the people, the United States, the American people, we own it. It's at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. So once this stay in place is over, I need you to go to Washington, D.C. and go to the National Gallery and take a selfie like I did back in 2013. All right. With that, I will stop and we'll pick up with Rembrandt? Yes.